Yo, y'all, we're sharp tapping in TNN Trap News Network. We back in the same, like, cracking the same. Make sure y'all hit that like, hit that comment, hit that get subscribe button for everything we got going on here at TNN Trap News Network. It's that news you can use. It's that knowledge you ain't finna get in college here at TNN Trap News Network. Wait, that's better. Here at TNN Trap News Network. Let's try it all over. TNN Trap News Network. There you go. News you can use. Good knowledge you ain't finna get nobody's college, big dog. Tap in with the tap in, man. It's Saturday, so y'all know we go ahead slide through this Kantiana real quick. We ain't gonna hold y'all too much, man. At the Garden Freestyle, RichTrapHouse.com. Let's get into that. Academics is going over Lil Durk's paperwork, man. The feds said that they gonna keep that boy. Let's get into this content. Let's go.
No, I think the superseding indictment is out. I posted part out, or his lawyers talked to. They talked to the government, who said, "Hey, we're giving you a superseding indictment." So you trying to get the last indictment thrown out, our new superseding indictment, we're going to give you a copy of it before we present it in court. And we actually took out, which they did, they removed all mention of lyrics, and they're now, by the way, no, I think the superseding indictment is out. I posted part. All right, so this was filed, and it says
the feds are trying to use lyrics of a video a fan made to, get Lil Durk convicted and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, how are you giving me lyrics that a fan posted on me to use against me?
And wait, no. What? Did I email the wrong thing? I did. I must have. Hold on, give me 1 second. Yeah, I did email the wrong thing. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'm an idiot. All right, just give me 1 more second and I'll be able to fetch it. Takes forever for this fucking email to come through. Okay. Here we go. All right. So let me just explain what happened in court. What didn't really happen in court? So this is the AUSA, or the U.S. Attorney, actually, which, by the way, the last U.S. Attorney, never mind, that's in the Diddy case. I'm tripping. So this is the U.S. Attorney right here, Bilal, and then his assistant attorneys, AUSAs, are these people. And essentially what they said, there's a supplement to the government's opposition to the defendant's application for reconsideration of bail. So essentially what they say, and it comes to this page, on May 1st, 2025, right, which is yesterday, the grand jury returned a second superseding indictment, charging the defendant Banks and his co-conspirators with crimes arising from the August 22 murder of Quando Rondo's friend, Lil Pop, including an additional charge of stalking resulting in death in violation of this statute. Defendant Banks has presented a false narrative that he has been prosecuted and detained because of his violent lyrics. This claim is and always been baseless. The superseding superseding indictment 1 contains no allegations about the defendant's lyrics. Instead, just like every iteration of the indictment before it, the superseding indictment 1 contains significant allegations that show the defendant's alleged role in the execution-style murder of Taekwon Bowman, which is Quando Rondo's friend, Lil Pop, on a busy street corner in Los Angeles. These allegations and other evidence in the court considered during the defendant's blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So essentially, they said that we got a new superseding indictment. Now, we get more information about the superseding indictment here.
Meanwhile, this nigga got Loose Cannon playing with him, doing stupid ish, trying to flam him in the interviews. This man is really fighting for his life. This nigga got a full-blown hot one he trying to beat. And Loose Cannon is trying to trick this nigga in the interviews with DJ Academics and all kind of stuff in the pen. Barnacles work. And I have a feeling that Academics knows a lot more than what he's letting us know that he knows, because you can't tell me that Loose Cannon is smart enough to orchestrate that by himself, and Academics is the only one who really profited off of it. But you didn't know nothing? That don't even make sense.
This is from Durk's team. And Durk's team says, hey, they had this ex parte meeting, right, where the government served them with this superseding indictment, and they said, okay, cool, we're going to need some time to kind of process this. And they agreed in an ex parte communication Because usually one side says one thing, the other side says another thing, and the judge has to rule who they're going to go in favor for or what the ruling is going to be. But if the two parties come to an agreement without the judge, which is, as I said, without a party's ex parte, they could say this is going to be an unopposed request. So they're saying the government agrees with them that they're going to need more time to look over this new indictment, right? So that's why they said defendant Durk Banks' unopposed request for additional time to submit his reply in support of the application for reconsideration of detention order. Defendant Durk Banks, through his attorneys, Drew Finland, Marissa Goldberg, Jonathan Brayman, and Christy O'Connor, hereby files his unopposed request for a brief extension of time to submit his reply, blah, blah, blah. It said on April 23rd, he got granted a hearing. At the end of the day yesterday, one day before the defendant's reply was due, the government informed the defense counsel through email that they had gone back to the grand jury and re-indicted the case in a second superseding indictment against Banks. Now, chat, let me kind of break that down in layman's terms. The government knew they made a big fuck up. It looked bad. Now, I don't think the judge would have dismissed this case against Durk because of the fan video or the fan edited video that was used to get the indictment. That's not why. I don't think it would have been dismissed either way. But to cross their T's, dot their I's, remember this is federal court, not state court. This is supposed to be the big leagues. So since they realized they fucked up, they ran back to the grand jury. They had about 2 weeks to do this. They ran back to the grand jury and present.
What the hell? My bad, y'all. Hold on. That was weird. Not sure why that happened, but let's keep going.
Did the case again in the sneak, under the quiet. And the grand jury came back and said, we're still indicting him again. So they're using this as the second superseding indictment. The way it works, and clearly by the definition of the word superseding, the indictment that is the last superseding indictment is the only indictment that matters. Okay, so the previous ones do not matter. It says the government provided a copy of the new indictment to the undersigned counsel on today's date. In the second superseding indictment, the government has chosen to. So they're saying the government threw in the towel, saying the lyrics, whatever. It says to remove the allegation regarding Mr. Banks' lyrics previously attached in, previously included in the first superseding indictment. They removed an allegation regarding payment of bounties. So that's actually important. We didn't know that. So they're saying they removed an allegation that Durk was going to pay these people, which I'm wondering why they did that. That's the basis of murder for hire. If you charge me with murder for hire, at some point you gotta prove that I plan to pay these people, I promised to pay these people, or I did pay these people. So we're gonna have to figure out about that. And that was previously included in the first superseding indictment, and an additional charge of stalking. So they have given Durk another charge called stalking, resulting in death. Okay? I'm wondering why give him this charge? Like, the murder charge should be the top charge. Like, why give him this, like, charge that kind of rolls up and kind of deals with murder, but it's not murder, whatever. Anyway, as
the stalking is because you laid on that nigga, because you was following that nigga, because you was creeping on him. That's stalking. You feel me? You was laying on it. You was following that nigga. You was, you know what I'm saying? You was tracing him. You was tracking him. All that's stalking. You feel me? That's creeping on a nigga.
the court is aware,
That is against the law.
both from the initial detention hearing.
We never think about it. We be like, oh, I was laying on my ops. I'm laying on my ops. That is an actual aggravated stalking charge. And now you hear he's getting stalking that's led to an unalivement, and that's a federal charge. So just, might want to pay attention to that. Gang members.
In current briefing on Mr. Banks' application for a reconsideration of the detention order, the government's allegation regarding Mr. Banks' lyrics have been a hotly contested issue before this court. It appears that the government has conceded this issue, but in the re-indictment of this case raises new factual and legal issues. Based on the above, Mr. Banks respectfully requests that the court gives him a brief extension to file his reply so he and his counsel could review the new indictment and respond as necessary and appropriate. Mr. Banks requests that he be permitted to file his reply on or before Tuesday, May 6th. And then they sign. Marissa Goldberg does it, she works out of Drew Finland's office. By the way, Christy O'Connor is on it. That's been Durk's longtime lawyer. And also Jonathan Brayman, who represented him for his gun cases in Chirac back in the day when he was there. Okay? So that's pretty much the up.
All right, man. So make sure y'all hit that like, comment, subscribe button. Everything DJ Academics got going on. Y'all know the deal, man. Be better today than what you were yesterday. Be better tomorrow, but today be at your best. You know the deal. Red dots to the left. You know the rest. Free Avenue Angels, so he's free. We got